Welcome to Withdraw Consent. My name is Victor, and I don't know jack about that Oliver Anthony video.
Okay. But you watched it.
I have watched it.
And so this is Richmond, north of Richmond. Everybody who's watching has watched it.
Okay.
And basically, so I do like Gab Social, and I flip through it, and then one day, it's just everybody's posting them.
Okay.
And then, like, you flip through a couple days ago, and now everybody hates them on Gab.
Oh.
Okay. So they liked them because it's like an anti-establishment, anti-Washington, D.C. song.
Okay.
You know, it just covers a lot of different things. Got some controversy in there when it talks about the welfare. But it's talking about the welfare in relation to the previous phrase, which is, Lord knows there's folks in the streets who've got nothing to eat. Then it goes on to talk about the abuse of welfare. So it's not it's not like saying abuse of welfare is more important than giving all of our money to Ukraine.
Sure.
It's like saying, wow, there's people who are hungry, or you could say vets, whatever, you know. Anyways, so he was talking to Fox News, and he did a quote, which I'm going to give to you, and then I want your feedback on what you think about it. And then we're going to go on to Tim Pool and just the most nonsensical stuff you can ever think.
Like he tops himself again and again?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, okay, so here's the quote. It's from an article called "The Far Right Turns on Richmond, North of Richmond, Singer for Touting Diversity." I chose the Daily Beast as the source, so it would be as inflammatory as possible, but I'm just going to read you the quote. So that's linked in the description if you want to see something inflammatory. And so the quote from Oliver Anthony is, "I don't see our country lasting more than another generation the way we are headed. We have to go back to the roots of what made this country great in the first place, which was our sense of community," he told Fox News reporter Griff Jenkins. How do you think so far? Pretty great, right?
Yes.
If you look at the first half of it, it's pretty great.
Right.
Okay, and let's see where he goes from there. "We are the melting pot of the world, and that's what makes us strong, our diversity. And we need to learn to harness that and appreciate it and not use it as a political tool to keep everyone separate from it."
Man, that went off the rails really fast.
And so then like the meme was, oh, look, he's already doing the bidding of the Richmond, north of Richmond.
Right,
Like
just immediately.
Quick. And the idea is that the guy's not super politically savvy.
Okay.
So he, in my opinion, he intuited that there's something terribly wrong in this country and then wrote a song that hit the right chords.
Okay.
Right? And it touched people worldwide. And then they're like, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Well, I've only ever been told to say this. I've only ever been told to say that. And it's not your fault a lot, if you're not politically active, to not understand that simple things like the diversity thing. Well, I never thought about it really. He lives in South Virginia and there's just all white folk and he don't think about it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
Could be. I shouldn't be excusing him. So we have a video we filmed on diversity. And so if we've already published it before we publish this, which is the scheduling controversy I mentioned earlier, then I'll put the link in the description. And if not, I'm hopefully tomorrow, that'll be the video. I could cross-link them, whatever. So then I'm watching Tim Pool's take on it, on his IRL show. And somebody's like, but diversity is great. And then they're all like, oh, praise diversity. Yeah, diversity is the best. Historically, it's the best thing ever, right? And then
they literally referred to history and said,
I don't know. I'm exaggerating.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm exaggerating. All the blood rushed to my head when I realized what they were saying was so stupid because Tim comes out and says, yeah, hybrid vigor. He says hybrid vigor. Do you know what hybrid vigor is?
No.
Okay. Nobody knows what hybrid vigor is.
Okay.
Tim knows. Because, see, the problem is, it's not a problem at all. The issue is that Tim is of mixed race.
Oh, yeah, right.
And so it's like, if maybe you're mixed race and you're like, are mixed race people the best ever? Well, let me look it up. Found a term, hybrid vigor.
Oh.
Okay?
It's only mixed race people have this?
I'm going to tell you all about it right now.
I'm excited.
And so this is just so interesting in relation to the diversity topic. That I was like, I got to get out the old book, you know? And read you a quote. So anyways, this is Which Way Western Man by William Gayley Simpson. Okay. If you have the time, definitely do it. It gets a little bit archaic because it talks about like the collusion between the USSR and the United States, how the Cold War was just complete fraud, you know? Okay. And it could be a little outdated now. But anyways, so we're gonna do hybrid vigor in a second, but I found this a couple pages before, and it's just so wonderful. I have to read it because this is what it reminds me of when Tim was talking. There is in America a veritable cult of the mongrel, of the hybrid. The idea of pure blood, as of the thoroughbred, is ridiculed. It is widely believed that the American type, which is assumed to be the best in the world, in large part owes its superiority to the fact that its blood is mixed. Crossbreeding, it is asserted, yields offspring of superior size, stamina, energy, and fertility. Okay. So he's talking bad about the way that people think, but now we're going to get into what actually hybrid vigor is. Okay. And I don't know if I should explain it first or just read you. What do you think?
I don't know where you're going.
Okay, well, let me explain it first so that when I read it, you can understand what we're talking about. Basically, it's like this. If you have, like, say, a purebred Holstein cow, which is a milking cow, you breed them with only ever Holstein milking cows because you want purebreds that produce the most milk. You've got a Jersey cow, what do you breed them with? Only ever Jersey cows, right? But you can do this thing, which is to create hybrid vigor. Okay. And you can mix a Jersey with a Holstein and you're going to get a cow that's mixed race. So it's an F1 generation and it's got hybrid vigor, which does mean, like the last thing, that it has superior size, stamina, energy, and fertility. And then you kill it and you eat it. Do you know why? Because it's got more meat because it's larger than it would have been if it were either of the others. What you cannot do is let that thing breed because its genes are done.
Right. You've ruined
the only way to get back hybrid vigor is to go and get 2 more purebreds of different types to get down to the hybrid vigor of the F1 generation, all which below that is worthless. So I'm just going to read you the science behind that. And so this is all coming from animal husbandry, basically. So we're just talking about like what happens when you breed. Okay, hybrid vigor is a phenomenon only of crosses between inbred stocks. In order to obtain it in any degree, it is essential that the 2 parents shall be unrelated, purebred, that the individuals used for the production of the first cross shall be as excellent as may be, and that the good qualities of the 2 shall be, as far as possible, complementary. Without the purebred, there cannot be the crossbred of any worth. Since for the production of hybrid vigor, the qualities of the 2 parties must be compensatory and complementary, it follows that all matings cannot be expected to yield it, and that some may end in disaster. So it doesn't even work every time, you know? So this is from Dr. Crew, Director of Animal Breeding Research Department of the University of Edinburgh. Then he goes on, hybrid vigor, when it does occur, is the peculiar possession of the first cross. Further crossing of these hybrids results in a manifest decrease of vigor in subsequent generations. The second crosses are not so vigorous as their hybrid parents. To recover hybrid vigor, you have to begin again with another cross of purebreds. That is, the first cross deliberately bred for a definite commercial purpose, selling them for the meat or something like that, must not be used for further breeding. It cannot pass on even its own size and vigor, let alone the particular excellencies concentrated and stabilized in its parents. For breeding, it is worthless. The most successful animal breeders knew this even in Darwin's time.
And so this isn't just like cows. We're talking just all breeding?
Yeah, it's just, these are the principles of breeding.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
And so if you go on, it says you want to, okay, I mean, it would get a little dark if I continue on too far, but so you want to find a mate who's very similar to you.
Okay.
And then you want to do that for generation after generation, but periodically you want to find a mate who's kind of similar to you. Almost, you know, because you want to mix in a little something. So like if you just have an island like Britain and they just have no contact with anybody, things are going to end up getting messed up. You would like to send some of your girls to France and have some of the French girls come over for a generation or 2. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying go to Africa or China.
Right.
I'm saying a small dissimilarity and then go back to kind of close off everything. You know? But anyways.
And so that would produce the best, the highest quality people?
The highest quality people, right. And so like we're getting into like, it's this kind of like a eugenics argument a little bit, right? Okay,
I just want to go back. We used an argument with white people, but you apply this to anybody. Like if you want the best Japanese people, you would do something similar.
Agreed. And you would not go away from Asian people at all.
Okay, gotcha.
With whatever you're thinking, you would stay with Asian people.
But Japanese most of the time, and then you'd inject a little something different.
You don't want to be always secluded. Now, if you were a land, like say China, and you had enough continuous influx from South Korea and Japan, you know, like then you would never need to artificially do this. And the part that this gets eugenics is not bad. I'll put a video in the description. But it can become bad. And at one part of this, if you continue reading that chapter far enough, it does get bad. And the reason why is because, if I even say this, I'm just going to get crucified. But the problem is it's factually true. So I'm not even going to say that. Okay. What I'm going to say is this. If you're breeding with people close to you, okay, I'm going to do animals, actually.
Okay.
If you're breeding animals with their brothers and sisters, okay, so you're giving them the best possible mate.
Because they're the closest.
Because they're the closest, right? That only works if you discard the waste.
Okay.
And so that's where you can't talk about human beings. Okay, gotcha. Because if you were to do that, if you're trying to make like super eugenic kids, but you're making some retards, and then you're that's a little rude, but some deformed kids, and then you're killing those kids, you're putting them out in the snow. Yeah, I'm not cool with that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where it can get dark, even though like, that's the optimal. Not going that optimal, right? Okay. I'm not willing to go that optimal.
Right. Yeah.
You may be,
So even a more like remote family member would be more ideal. Right. That was a couple cousins away or something like that.
And it does go like that. Like it says, like scientifically, it's the sister's the best, then the first cousin, then the second cousin, then the third cousin. Okay. And that's the rule. The problem is the closer you go to you, the more risk you have of abnormalities. And if you're not going to discard the waste, then you need to go a minimum distance which is pretty far. And even just socially to the cousin things, it's weird.
It's frowned on.
Right. So anyways, basically you go back to Tim Pool's hybrid vigor, and he's like touting it like, hybrid vigor, we should do diversity. Well, that works for one generation for commercial purposes. So what are Tim Pool's children going to be like? Oh, okay. Extremely lacking in vigor, not being able to make up the size of even the father. Do you know what I'm saying? And so when I read this book years and years ago,
You know the year about that was written?
No, I don't. And I checked before because I knew you were going to ask me.
Oh, okay.
But this was printed in 2003 by National Vanguard Books. And so they just print other people's books. Yeah. And it because I think this guy was with the National Alliance. But it doesn't have a good...
like title page or whatever?
Yeah, it doesn't have another title page saying when it was originally done. I think it was 60s or 70s originally. Okay. And then it went out of print, and then these guys restored it. Gotcha. And so, like, I did this study because I read it a long time ago, and I'm like, I'm just going to go find all these F1 generation guys,
That's interesting.
And I had a good rapport with people around me, so I'm going to all the basically half black, half white guys, Okay. And I'm telling them, hey, let's talk eugenics. And they're like, cool, let's go. What are your parents like? My mom's white, my dad's black. Okay. Could have guessed, Yeah. And I'm like, okay, what about your baby mama, Yeah. Oh, my baby mama white, of course, And I'm like, okay, you got pictures of your kids? Can I see what you got? Like, what are you working with? What kind of grades they got? Like, what are we doing? And the guys I were talking to did have a lot of vigor. They were some impressive black men, half black men, but that's what they consider. And then I looked at the kids, boy. It was this deformity. Like there was like this one guy had this girl, and the nose was like straight outwards, and I'm like, dang, this is terrible. So I don't know how far. Like it's so taboo what we're talking about that we can't even fund a study about how the most important thing in the world, human beings having good progeny. No, it's off the table. Right. Because you're wild. Anyways. I think Tim Pool is an idiot. I mean, every once in a while he'll say something interesting, and I watch him sometimes.
Or have an interesting guest is really what he relies on.
Yeah. And I'm not expecting that he's going to be super smart. He's a skateboarding kid who didn't finish, you know what I mean? High school, and for that, he's pretty smart.
Who's just trying to use this to make as much money as possible. He isn't actually...
Yeah, but he does advance some causes in his defense,
Right.
Even if that gets him more money, but... his mental acuity is not
a thinker.
Yeah.
Or if he is, he doesn't admit it because it goes against his business model.
And then he tries to be a thinker. And the problem is like, I would never even think, like, if you said, let's talk about single payer healthcare right now. I'm out. I'm out. I don't know. I could do a ton of research. I've talked to people about it before, but I don't even really understand. So I'm not going to speak authoritatively on that or physics, you know what I mean? Or go down the list of the different things that I'm not going to talk about. So anyways... Oliver Anthony, let's go back to the diversity thing. What do you think?
About like just diversity in general?
No,
like
I'm thinking about what he said. Do you think he betrayed his own music or no?
Well, your argument about him just not being a political person and just having I don't know that I give him a pass, but I can understand. He may not even had any idea what he was saying, and that type of thing. Definitely wasn't right what he said.
Because he didn't know enough not to go on Fox News.
Oh, interesting.
Like, would you go on Fox News to say something happened sensational in your life and Fox News wants to cover? Are you in?
I feel like I'm probably more well prepared.
You are well prepared. But I'm saying, like, I don't want propagandists. Like Trump going on CNN even, it's like, dude, you know what they are.
Right. They're going to clip your interviews.
And just be like, I'm the mediator here. I'm completely out of this. So why did you commit crimes? It's like, dude, are you serious? This is not journalism. I don't know. So I would say it's not that big a deal. I would say he got in over his head.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds reasonable.
And then on Tim Pool's thing, what do you think about that? His hybrid vigor. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like you said, just ignorance.
Okay.
And
do you think it was an interesting topic to discuss? Were you interested in that?
Yeah, no, that's the whole cow thing. And, the reading is very dry, but like what it's saying is incredibly interesting. And just that it seems like it's just nature. It isn't even just, like I said, like it's not even just cows. It's just, this is just how things work.
Right.
And
but let's close our eyes to that completely. Right. Close our eyes to that. And then talk about how great hybrid vigor is.
And then while you were reading that, I was putting myself in a Tim Pool's position. Like, I am what you're reading there. And oh man, like, wah, wah.
I know. And he's touting it though.
Right.
But it's kind of like you just want to go slap your dad and say, hey,
what were you thinking, man?
I'm going to have kids. You understand that, right? This is what you've done,
Yeah.
Man.
It's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I got.
All right. So what are your thoughts on this? I learned a ton on this video. I really appreciate the research and everything. Hopefully you guys learned something too. Interested in your thoughts about this. And please check out our other videos. We have a pretty good backlog at this point, over 100 videos. And we release new videos Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're very consistent. So if you're willing, give us a like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is. And hopefully we'll catch you next time.